Your employees are not resisting AI, but they are resisting the uncertainty. A lot of leaders and businesses are currently rolling out AI as if it was a tool upgrade, when in the background, your employees are quietly thinking about, is this going to replace me? If you don't address that fear, you're going to lose trust from your employees, and you're also going to lose the employees that need to help you implement that AI. I had a conversation with a client of mine several months ago that wanted to create a policy in their business related to AI. And they had purchased a version of Microsoft Teams Copilot, and they wanted their team to start using it for what they call productivity efficiencies. So great, sure, I'm happy to adapt, but I was very specific in telling the employer that they need to tell employees what this is supposed to be used for. And specifically what type of projects or when should they be using it. If it's, for an email, is it for a report? Is it for data function? Employees need to know what the use is for. However, the employer said that they were going to, be very specific, etc. Now fast forward about 6 months later, I have a conversation again with the employer, and they're struggling with their employees because they're not using that Copilot enough according to what the employer feels is the financial strain that they've put on it. And then another challenge the employer said was that the more seasoned employees, which means age, not years of service, are not using it. And I was like, why are you surprised? So not only would your employees under 25, not necessarily understand if you're not extremely specific, but why would your employees over 60, feel comfortable using a tool they've never seen before? And it just highlighted to me that uncertainty is just all related to change, and people are nervous around change. And this company just did not handle the situation properly. And now they've spent a lot of money on a tool that people are not using. And so I provided this owner with some new tips on what he should do for his business, and I will share them with you coming up. So my first tip on implementing AI as it relates to HR in the workplace is communicate the plan. So in order to communicate that plan with your employees, you have to be very clear as what the purpose is for AI. So if you are one of these businesses that have paid for some sort of AI function, Gemini, ChatGPT, or Microsoft Copilot, you need to ensure that your employees don't feel like they're going to be replaced, right? You're introducing change into the business. Change means anxiety. And people will probably feel that they're disposable. There's so much crap on social media right now that talks about how we're going to be replaced by robots. So whatever function that you're using AI in your business, your employees really need to feel secure and confident. That means you need to be confident. So be very specific as to the purpose of why you want your team to use it. So now, does that mean you should have team meetings? Absolutely. You could have one-on-one meetings, you could have small groups, you could have a large town hall. Maybe you do all of those as well, plus you follow up on an email. You always have to think about communication in different ways because we take in communication in different ways. Some people like to read things so they can reference them later. Some people are better one-on-one, right? But in order for you to share something that you're introducing change, you always want to try to share it in more than one communication way. So for more tips related to communicating the plan to introducing AI, don't forget to click that link below. Thanks. So my second tip today for introducing AI into the workplace is setting those AI guidelines. Now, a lot of businesses that I've heard so far are implementing this AI, and they're telling their staff what they want them to use it for. but they're also not telling their staff what not to use it for. Haha! It's really important to have a yes list, but it's also just as important to have a no list. So for example, if you want your team to use an AI function for emails, then great, put that in the yes list. But if you don't want it to be used for emails, then put it in the no list, right? That's part of those guidelines that we're saying, that you really need to set clear guidelines. People need to understand when they're supposed to use the tool. It's not just a matter of you telling them, hey, this tool's available on your computer, go ahead and use it. So if you want them to use it for projects, for research, for minute meetings when you're doing conferences, whatever it is, put as many examples in your yes and no list so that people can have a better understanding as to how they're supposed to use this tool. So my third and final tip today is, once you communicate the plan and then you set those guidelines, well, now you need to rework your design, right? So that means you need to pull out people's job descriptions and start implementing and reworking the job description so that you can take that plan and the guidelines and put that also into the job description. So why do we think that's important? Well, number one, you need to hold your people accountable. And in order to hold them accountable, there needs to have some sort of documentation so that they know what the expectation is, right? So if ever you're doing a performance review, you're very clear on the job description as to what someone is supposed to do. Now, there's always going to be fine print at the end of the job description that says you could be asked to do anything and clean the toilets, right? That's normal. But a large portion of what people do on a day-to-day basis should be on a job description. Now, that's also the same if someone is not performing up to par and you may need to performance manage them. You need to be able to show them again that you are not doing XYZ that is listed on your job description. So it's another reason why you need to tailor that job description. Now, the other thing though that employers are doing about reworking design, most people I've been hearing is they really want teams to use AI because they want them to be more efficient. Right? The word productivity is being thrown around very loosely, is that we want our team to be more productive. Well, what does that mean? Hopefully you've put that in your guidelines in tip number 2, but in tip number 3, you need to tell people again, what does productivity look like? So are you one of these employers that you expect your team to use AI now so they can work faster? So if they're scheduled for 8 hours, they're going to be able to do all of their tasks in 6 hours. And that means you could add more tasks on their to-do list. I hope you're not one of those employers, because that's not very nice. Now, I understand that you want your team to be more productive. Totally makes sense, right? Because time is money. But at the end of the day, if you just keep loading on more tasks to them because you think AI is going to make them more efficient and more productive, you're just going to burn out your team. So it's great to help them, but it's not supposed to be to just give them more work if they're going to become more efficient, right? Maybe that means you're going to have to rework their schedule as well, not just the job description. So at the end of the day, it's important for you to really look at this as like a 3-step process. What do you want to do to communicate the plan, right? Be very clear with your team on what the purpose is for AI and make sure that they feel confident that they're not being replaced. Number 2 is set out those guidelines for AI so that you are very specific on what you want them to use it for and what you don't want them to use it for. And then our third and final is rework your designs, right? Relook at your job descriptions, find a way to implement that into the job descriptions so that people now can use this as a tool later to reference so that they know what the expectation is of them. If you're looking for more tips on HR, I'm always happy to see you on our videos, and I look forward to seeing you on our next one.